The Quickshift Companion Pulverize Werebear Druid is a nice starter for the Season 3 in Diablo 4. Altough Overpower got some nerfs and we will a bit weaker without the vampiric powers. We're still in a really good spot to have a sweet and chill level experience with our Pulverize. Thanks to the Shepherd's aspect, we'll get a really huge core skill damage boost for our Pulverize, and also with the quick shift ability, our Pulverize always does really nice damage. This build will be a viable and solid starter in your journey into the Season 3 of Diablo 4, and I will cover the leveling experience from level 1 to 50 in this guide. Hey guys, what's up? Angel with another Druid build guide for the beginning of Season 3, and after a quick introduction, as I tell you why you should definitely take the Quickshift Companion Pulverize Druid for the Season 3 start. So there you will have an Paragon board as also an charplaner. Then let's gonna start with the Skilltree. First, you're gonna take Storm Strike and the Glyphs for the Storm Strike, because you will always attack with Storm Strike, then with Pulverize, then with Storm Strike, and so the enemies are always vulnerable. And then you will go for Pulverize 1 point, then the 2 Glyphs for Pulverize, so the enemies are always with 20% damage reduction covered. And then you will max out Pulverize. For the next points, you will take 1 point into Bloodhowl, 1 point into Enhanced Bloodhowl, and 1 point to Innate Bloodhowl. So we'll get 20 spirit back every time you will cast it. So be always sure to keep Bloodhowl on your cooldown. For the next part, go for 3 points in the clarities. We'll always get 6 spirit back when we switch to human form again. I will explain to you the Rota at the end of my video, so make sure that you will stay to the end of the video. But if you have further questions, you can also ask them in the comments. Then you will go for 1 point into Poison Creeper, 1 point into Enhanced Poison Creeper, 1 point into Brutal Poison Creeper, so the enemy will get 20% increased crit chance. Then 1 point into Wolves for our aspect of Shepherd, and then 1 point into Ravens, so we can go for 1 point Brutal Ravens, so we get 2 additional Ravens. For the next point, go 3 points into Quick Shift, as also 3 points into Natural Fortitude. Then you will spec 1 point in Neurotoxin, 2 points into Envenom, and then 1 point into Ursan Strength. So we'll get a really nice damage, overpower, and additional max life boost. And with the quick shift, we'll always have 15% more damage, as we always gonna switch Storm Strike and Pulverize. And with the Natural Fortitude, we'll always have max Fortitude, because we're constantly switching our Werebear form. And for the last part, the Envenom, you will always get nice 30% increased crit damage when you're gonna root the poisoned enemies. For the next point, go 1 point into Crushing Earth, 1 point into a Safeguard, so you will always get 45 when you critical strike, and then we'll go 3 points into a Stone Guard, then go for the last 2 points into the Crushing Earth, and then you can spec 1 point into Defiance, 1 point into Natural Disaster, and then 3 points into Resonance. The nice part here is we'll always get 18% more damage, because we're always using a Storm skill. And then our Pulverize, this is an Earth skill, so it is a really nice damage addition. As next, we will go for 1 point into Heightened Senses, then 1 point into Circle of Life for nice max life back when we use our Pulverize, and then you will go for 3 points into Natural Disaster, as also 2 points into Defiance, go for 2 points into Heightened Senses, and 1 point into Ancestral Fortitude, and your last point into Vigilant. With this skill tree, you should be fine to cover the first 50 levels. In my mid-tier guide, I will play with a slightly different skill tree, because you will need the Ancestral Fortitude when you will go into World Tier 3 in World Tier 4, so also check the video out when it's released. For the Spirit Boons, start as soon as possible the Druid quest with level 15, then clear the Stronghold to Dulra, and then complete your Druid quest. And as you finish your Druid quest, you should also have, I think, around 75 points. So take Pack Leader first and skill it, then take 2 points here, go for the Iron Feather for more max life, then go for the Snake, the next 100 points, take the Obsidian Slam, then wait for the next 75 points and go for Weariness, and then max out the rest. And after that, go for the Spirit Boon with Sky Talents. I also put it on my written guide in Mobalytics where you can check it out. So let's talk about gear, or more importantly, our specs, as we don't really need to focus on our affixes when we are leveling. But maybe you will take max life and resistance first and armor, so you can cap out your defensive, because we are doing enough offensive damage. For the aspects, go for the ballistic aspect for 2 additional ranks for pulverize when you have 45. For your chest, go for the aspect of the might for another damage reduction when we use storm strike. In your gloves, go for the aspect of the Ursa and Horror, so your pulverize is also an earth skill and do additional damage. For the boots, go for the aspect of the quicksand, so we'll additionally to our poison creeper slow the enemies, and we'll get the slow tech for our earth skills. And for the weapons, I have aspect here now, but this is more for the mid tier guide. Don't use an aspect on your leveling weapons, because you will always switch out until you get to World Tier 3. So go for the aspect of Shepherd in your amulet, because it's also in Codex. But if you have the Shockwave aspect, go for the Shockwave aspect in your amulet. Otherwise, go for the aspect of Shepherd and then the aspect of the retaliation. So we'll get additional damage when we're fortified. And also the aspect of the Stampede. This is not a Codex aspect with Season Dry, so when you get it, take it, but otherwise you can go for other damage sources or damage aspects, but you don't really need them. These 3 are the only one you need, and if you will find the Shockwave aspects, even better, then equip it. I also wrote in my ring guide where you can find the specs, so it is nice, and you can already start with, I think, level 10 to 12 for the specs. So you will have all of them with level 15, and then you can go start leveling in the Domhane tunnels. I won't cover my Paragon board in here because it is a leveling guide, but I will put it maybe in my charplaner, and I will also explain the Paragon board in my next guide, in the mid-tier guide for the Pulverize Quickshift Companion Druid. For Rota, if you don't have enough spirit, then go with Bloodhowl, then Poison Creeper, so everything is rooted, and you will have the additional 15% from Quickshift and the 30% from Envenom. Then go with 1 Pulverize, then Storm Strike to make them vulnerable, then Pulverize again, and then just do the normal Rota. If your Bloodhowl is back up, go for Bloodhowl, then for Storm Strike, so you will take always the 6 points for your spirit generation from the Clarity, and then Pulverize. And keep in mind, always cast a Storm Strike before you will cast a Pulverize, so you will have the 15% more damage. And with this setup you should be fine, and you should completely stomp the early game and World Tier 2. So I hope I could show you a really nice guide that will guide you through the early parts of the leveling in the new season. As I said countless times now, I will update my endgame guide for the Pulverize Druid, and also I will bring out a mid-tier Pulverize Druid Quickshift guide. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. It would boost my channel tremendously, and we will see us in the next video. Bye!